Welcome to Strange and Spectacular. The rains arrived without mercy, the sky opened up and clouds loomed over towns and villages, bringing with them relentless downpours. Raging torrents surged through the mountains, transforming rivers into ferocious beasts. Water rushed down hillsides, carrying everything in its path, as streams turned into raging currents that swallowed everything in their wake. Across Bosnia and Herzegovina, the water rose, a relentless tide that swallowed homes, businesses, and lives. Streets transformed into rivers and cars bobbed like toys in the water. It was a disaster of biblical proportions, a deluge that transformed landscapes into a swirling brown sea. Fields vanished beneath the water, and towns became islands in a vast expanse of water. Within hours, the nation found itself in a desperate struggle against the rising floodwaters. People built sandbag barriers, trying to protect their homes, while rescuers worked around the clock to pull people from flooded houses. The deluge of October 2024 would forever be etched in Bosnia's memory. It was an event that changed the lives of many, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's collective consciousness. It was a stark reminder of nature's raw power, a force capable of unleashing chaos and devastation in the blink of an eye. Trees were ripped from their roots, and the remnants of everyday life floated in the water. As the waters rose, they carried with them the remnants of shattered lives, washing away years of hard work and leaving behind a trail of sorrow and despair. People watched as their memories were swept away, their homes reduced to rubble. The nation was submerged, not just in water, but also in grief and the daunting task of rebuilding from the ruins. Every step through the water was a reminder of loss, but also of the need for renewal and unity. Yet even amidst the devastation, there were glimmers of hope. People came together, offering each other support and aid. Stories of extraordinary courage and compassion began to emerge. Stories of ordinary people who risked their own lives to save others. Volunteers helped those stranded, and rescue boats navigated the flooded streets, bringing safety to those in need. Neighbors helped neighbors, strangers became saviors, and the nation united in its hour of need, proving that even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, the human spirit can endure. Together, they worked to rebuild, sharing food, water, and hope, demonstrating that the power of community is unbreakable. Nestled amidst the rugged Dinaric Alps, the town of Jablanica had always found solace in the embrace of the Neretvu River. The river was a source of life, providing water for agriculture, fishing, and the daily needs of its residents. Its clear waters were a symbol of peace and stability, its banks a place of gathering and joy. But in October 2024, the river that had nurtured generations turned against its people, transforming from a source of life into an instrument of destruction. Heavy rains and rapid snowmelt caused the Neretvu to swell to unprecedented levels, breaching its banks and surging into the heart of the town. The deluge that gripped Bosnia hit Jablanica with particular ferocity, transforming its picturesque streets into raging torrents and submerging homes and businesses beneath a sea of debris-filled water. Streets that were once bustling with life were now unrecognizable, coated in mud and debris. The images that emerged from Jablanica were heartbreaking. People stood helplessly, watching as the water claimed everything they had ever owned. Their faces reflected shock, grief, and disbelief. Houses were reduced to rubble, their foundations cracked and crumbled under the relentless onslaught of floodwaters. Buildings that had stood for decades were now just piles of brick and wood. Cars were tossed around like toys, left mangled and overturned, stark reminders of the water's unforgiving power. Vehicles that had once served as a means of escape were now useless, trapped in the chaos. The iconic bridge, a symbol of Jablanica's resistance during World War II, stood precariously, its arches tested by the sheer volume of water surging beneath. The bridge, which had survived the ravages of war, was now on the verge of collapse. For the people of Jablanica, the flood was not just a natural disaster, it was a deeply personal tragedy. They had lost not just their homes, but their memories, family heirlooms, and sense of security. Lives were lost, dreams were shattered, and a sense of irreplaceable history was washed away. Every street, every corner, every stone held a story, and now those stories were gone. The flood laid bare the town's vulnerability, revealing the fragility of human existence in the face of nature's wrath. It showed how small we all are before forces we cannot control. Yet amidst the ruins the spirit of Jablanica endured, a testament to the resilience of a community determined to rebuild, to honor their losses, and to rise again from the ashes of devastation. People came together, offering each other support, determined to build a better future for themselves and their children. As the scale of the disaster became horrifyingly clear, a desperate race against time began. The floods had engulfed entire communities, leaving devastation and despair in their wake. People watched helplessly as the water claimed their homes, their memories, and their loved ones. Across the flooded regions of Bosnia, rescue teams and ordinary citizens sprung into action, driven by a shared sense of urgency and compassion. The streets were filled with people coming together to help one another, forming human chains and utilizing whatever resources they could find. They were battling not just the floodwaters, but time itself, knowing that every minute that passed could mean the difference between life and death for those trapped or injured. The water was rising relentlessly, and with each passing hour the situation grew more critical. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their rotors churning the air as they navigated treacherous conditions, airlifting stranded residents from rooftops and delivering emergency aid to cut off communities. Each flight was a race against time, the pilots displaying incredible bravery and skill. On the ground, rescuers waded through waist-deep water, navigating treacherous currents and debris-strewn streets to reach those in need. Every step was a challenge, but they were driven by the determination to save as many lives as possible. Volunteers, their faces etched with concern and determination, used whatever boats and makeshift rafts they could find to ferry their neighbors to safety. Their dedication and selflessness were an inspiration to all. The rescue efforts were fraught with challenges. Equipment often malfunctioned or proved inadequate, and the conditions on the ground were incredibly difficult. Every obstacle demanded creativity and resourcefulness. Roads were impassable, bridges had collapsed, and communication networks were down, hampering coordination and adding to the sense of chaos. Rescuers had to find alternative routes and ways to communicate to continue their operations. Yet, despite the exhaustion and the overwhelming scale of the disaster, the rescuers pressed on, their courage fueled by the knowledge that every life saved was a victory against all odds. Every successful rescue was a moment of joy and relief. In those dark hours, humanity shone through, a beacon of hope amidst the devastation. People displayed incredible solidarity and compassion, offering each other support and hope in the face of unimaginable loss. As news of Bosnia's plight spread, the international community responded with an outpouring of support and solidarity. Around the world, hearts went out to the flood-stricken nation, as governments, organizations, and individuals rallied to provide assistance and support. From neighboring countries to distant corners of the globe, a wave of compassion swept the planet, translating into tangible support for Bosnia's recovery efforts. Trucks laden with bottled water, food, medicine, tents, and other essential supplies began arriving at the borders, a lifeline for those who had lost everything. Medical teams, equipped to handle a range of injuries and illnesses, were dispatched to provide much-needed care to the injured and displaced. Financial aid poured in from governments and international organizations, offering much-needed support to the country's strained resources. The international response to the Bosnia floods was a testament to the power of human compassion, a reminder that even in an increasingly interconnected world, empathy and solidarity can transcend borders and cultures. The outpouring of support offered a glimmer of hope amidst the devastation, a sign that Bosnia was not alone in its struggle to recover and rebuild. The ongoing efforts of international aid and the resilience of the Bosnian people continue to drive the recovery forward, showing that with unity and determination, Bosnia and Herzegovina can rise from the floods stronger than ever. Thank you for watching Strange and Spectacular. Please share and subscribe.